The uncertainty that's in these statutes means that their application is uncertain, but it also means that their application can easily become political. So, in terms of the politicization of these issues and working as a human rights lawyer, I found myself working on issues that are on the quote-unquote left of politics and on issues that are on the right of politics. I don't particularly like those labels. Initially, most of the issues I worked on fell on the left side. Indigenous issues, asylum seeker rights, discrimination, environmental stuff. And they're all issues which a certain segment of the population, mostly young people, see as noble and valid and important. In the context of COVID-19, I found myself defending human rights principles that same segment of the population demonized me for defending and standing up for. Freedom of speech, the right to autonomy over one's own body, for example. So I found myself working on issues that align neatly with the zeitgeist and issues that have seen me insulted, outcasted, and feared. So why is there such a variance? Why is it so difficult in Australia for us to even decide on what human rights actually are, whether they're worth defending, and in what circumstances? As a nation, what is our stance on human rights? Our track record as a nation betrays a young nation that is very clearly still very unsettled. There was an insistence on terra nullius until only a couple of decades ago. Our nation had a very enthusiastic initial participation in those UN treaties and covenants I talked about. We were one of the first nations in the world to sign up to those, and we were encouraging everyone else to sign them as well. We've since almost completely ignored them, which is a stain on the integrity of our nation as a whole. We're very confused about Israel and Palestine. Our government's treatment of Julian Assange is very controversial. We recently had the High Court overturn a decision from a couple of decades ago about whether asylum seekers can be indefinitely detained in detention. You may have seen the furor since that decision and the conflict between the government and the courts and the media that has spilled out. We are clearly confused, clearly divided, and clearly not at all in agreement as a nation about what we care about. That's my point. All of this stems from a lack of foundational doctrine. We have not structured our society on a foundation of agreed principles. We have no agreed doctrine of human rights on which to fall back, and that brings me back to my own story.